So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so you need to turn on your camera. We cannot see you.
So please let me know if I can start.
Yes, you can start now.
Okay. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. I welcome you to today's session of KD presentations, and then I will be the one presenting today. I am Maya Manelele from the Python and Data Science team, and today I will be talking on data-driven decision making, how data will impact business. So if I can confirm, let me confirm, please. If you can still see my screen.
Yes, you can.
So just like what I have said, that today we'll be looking at data-driven decision making, how data will impact businesses. So before we dive deeply into our topic of discussion today, I want us to let us know that in today's digital age, data is no longer just a byproduct of business operations. It is now a vital strategic asset. Data now is now a vital strategic asset. And then organizations in various industries now leverage the use of data to drive business operations, to guide business decisions, to drive innovations, and then maintain a competitive edge in the industry. So today we now have a shift from an intuition-based decision making alone to what we call a data-driven decision making to transform the way businesses operate. So my objective for today's presentation is to let us understand the concept of decision making, data-driven decision making, and then why it matters, and the merit of leveraging data in our decision making processes, and then also how data can drive informed actions. So to start with, I'll be defining some terms to us. Basically, when we say data, what do we mean? When we say decision making, what do we mean? And then when we say a data-driven decision making, what do we mean? So basically, data is a collection of facts and figures that amount to what we call information. So the facts and figures can be in form of numbers, can be in form of text, can be in form of sounds, can be in form of images. So in cumulative of the collection of facts and figures amounting to what we call information, is what we call data. So when we say decision making, it's just the process of making choices, the process of making decisions, the process of making choices. And when we say data-driven decision making, is that we are making our choices based on data. We are making use of data to drive our decision making, and then when we are making use of metrics, data metrics to drive this decision making. Why does data matters in business? We might just be looking at we might be thinking probably what is actually the essence of data, the use of data in business. It is the I would say the merit of probably what we gain from using the, data in our decision making in businesses cannot be overly emphasized. Cannot be overly emphasized. It is very, very vital for us if um, an organization is growth oriented, and they are not just, and they don't just want to build or probably provide them and provide solution, or probably they think they want to provide solution based on their intuition alone. If they're not looking in that aspect, and then it's if they're not just growth oriented, and they might not just think of making use of data. But if an organization is data oriented, and then they actually want to build what matters, they want to provide solution that matters, and then they will actually want to take cognizance of data, because it's really, really important to leverage data in our business related matters. Why it matters is that from data we gain what we call customer insight. Customer insight. This is telling us that with the use of data, we can predict the way our customers think. We can predict what our customers want. We can predict how customers perceive the solution, or perceive the solution, or perceive the services, perceive the product we are giving them, we are serving them. So data gives us the opportunity to know our customer, to have our customer insight. And also, why data matters in business is that it makes us make this informed decision. We're not just making decisions based on our intuition alone. We're not just making decisions based on probably what we feel alone, but we are informed about the decision we are making. Informed in the sense that we know when we make this decision based on the data we've gathered, we are actually doing the right thing. We are doing the right thing. We are on the right track. So it guides our actions. It makes us carry out informed actions. And also, why data matters is that it helps in cost reduction and efficiency. Because if we are making decisions based on our intuition alone, at the end we might later figure out that it is not the best of decision to make, and then that's the effect of that might tell on our business operation, might tell on our profit making, and also the cost of production in the cost of production in making that particular solution, making that particular product, or probably giving out that services businesses offer to our customers. So it also data matters because it's help us still efficient in our day-to-day business activities. And also, why data matters is that it gives us the leverage of a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. We in industries, and then for a particular business with their competitors, an organization that leverages data so well in the right manner, in the right approach, um, have an added advantage to their competitors, because whatever they are doing, whatever they are providing as a service, whatever they are providing as a product, they are not just doing it for fun, or probably they're not just doing it based on what they feel they should do, but they are doing it based on what the data is telling them. They are doing it based on what the customer, based on their research, based on the data they've gathered, and they are doing it based on what the customer really wants, compared to an organization that is just providing solution, or probably building products um, based on their own intuition alone, or probably based on what they feel the customer wants. And it might actually turn out that what they are thinking the customer wants might not actually be what the customer actually wants. So an organization that makes use of data has a competitive advantage to their business counterpart that do not leverage data in their decision making. We've talked about why data matters. We've talked about what data-driven decision making is. Then the question now is, how do we make a data-driven decision? What are the processes to that? First is that we need to actually um, collate the data, get informations, vital informations that we need to integrate. So and that is basically the first step. We go into market research to know to understand the market, to understand what our users want, and then the information we've gathered, we collect them to integrate in our processes. So the next step is, after the collection of those data amounting to what we call information, then sorry, can anyone still hear me? Am I still on call?
Yes, we can.
Okay, no, thank you.
All right.
As I was saying now, after collecting our data, then the next thing is to actually perform what we call data processing. And then a part of the data processing is data cleaning and preparation. We prepare the data we've collected for we prepare the data we've collected for analysis and for us to generate vital insights from it. And then the next thing is analysis and interpretations. Analysis and interpretations, that is, the data we've collected, we've cleaned, and then we've prepared it for analysis. Then we go direct into analysis, that we analyze the data, we think about the data, we look deeply into the data we've gathered, and then we interpret what the data is telling us. So we interpret what the data is telling us. So the the result of our interpretations will now get us to having an actionable insight, and then with that we can now strategically formulate what we want to do, how we want to do it, and then as a result we'll be having a cogent why to a cogent why to why we are doing this, a cogent reason backed with data to why we are actually doing this. So, and then the next thing is after deriving that actionable insight, making a strategic and formulating a strategic process to achieving our end goal. Then we proceed to implement. Excuse me. Then we proceed to implementation. We implement what we gathered into our product, or probably is our product making, or probably our service rendering. So, and then after the implementation, we don't just implement and leave it like that. The next thing is to actually also monitor the change, also monitor um the outcome of that process, also to also let us know in the future that this data we've gathered with and this data we've generated the insights from, and then this is the way we implemented it, and then this is the result we get. So in later in the future, we can now go back to that data, go back to that previous steps. We can now also use that to gain more insight to how we can um, also learn, maneuver our ways, and also provide a better service, a better product. So the benefit of data-driven decision making cannot be overemphasized for organizations that are growth-oriented, and organizations that wants to stay relevant in the industry. One of the benefits is accuracy. Whatever you are, the product you are providing, the services you are rendering, is accurate. We are providing that particular product to the real users that needs it. We are providing that services to the real users that needs your services, and then it helps you stay accurate in it helps you stay accurate in rendering services, and then building product that matters to customers, and not just products you feel that is what the customer wants, and you start imposing it on them, and then at the end the customer will say, I don't need this, and then why are you just forcing me to buy your product, or probably to buy into your ideas. Another benefit is that you are building with confidence. You are providing that services with confidence. So if any question, or probably if anything arises from that decision, from that product you are providing, from that services you are providing, you are confident to back it up. You are confident to tell them this is what it is and this is how to use it. This is the benefit of using this product. This is benefit of getting my services. So you are actually confident in your approach. You are confident in your statements, in the way you speak, the way you speak, and the way you think that what your product offers and what your services offers to your end users. So you are confident in that. Also, it's and one of the benefits is that it's cost savings. Instead of, take for example, probably for building a particular product, for building a particular product, you may actually want to allocate a budget of probably ₦1 million to this product, ₦1 million to this product. But based on the research you've made and based on the data you've gathered, and the insights you've gotten from those data, has actually helped you to streamline your streamline it to what really matters. So instead of spending ₦1 million to build that product, then you discover that you actually do not need ₦1 million to build that product, but rather just 500,000, take for example, to build that product. So you've saved 500,000 for other activities of the organizations, and that is because you leverage the use of data. Another benefit is innovation. The leveraging of data makes you innovative in your data, makes you innovative in your makes you innovative in your what's it called? Makes you innovative in the way you build your product. So and the way you build your product, the way you render your services, you are innovative, you are creative about it, and that is because you leverage data. So this for an organization that is good to renter, they really know what they are doing. When they leverage data, these are the benefits they get from it: accuracy, confidence, cost savings, and innovation. So let's take for example now the marketing industry. Targeted campaigns based on customer segmentation. That is telling us that for a particular product, for example, now let's say product A, and they are done building their product, and then they want to take it to the market. With the use of data, they will actually data will actually help them to streamline their target audience. They won't just be marketing to they won't just be doing a generalized marketing to all users in the market. So they actually want the use of data will actually streamline into those specific people that really needs your data, and it helps you. As a result, it helps you in customer segmentation. So you can actually say these are the people that actually needs your product, and these are the people that do not need them. So instead of pouring your whole effort to all users, you can actually streamline that effort to a particular to a group of customers, and then that will actually help you to get what you actually wanted, and to achieve your business goals. And also for, let's say, for a retail shop also, it's a retail shop that wants to restock their shop, for example. Now they can't if they are not leveraging the use of data, they will just restock the shop with what matters, what the customer needs, and what the customer do not need. So take for example, excuse me, take for example, I have a shop, and what I sell is basically let me say stationaries, books, pen, anything stationary. And then and the set of people are the set of customers that my audience are basically secondary school students, for example. So if I want to restock my shop now, I can't it's not it won't be good for me to restock my shop based or stock my shop with books that are books that are used in what's it called? Books that are used in university settings, or probably books that are used by professionals, because those set of people are not the people I'm targeting, and they are not my audience. So if I'm not using data, um if I'm not using data to decide what kind of thing to the kind of books to restock my shop with, then I will just be stocking with things that the secondary school students will not need, and at the end I will be at a loss. But if I'm leveraging data, I will know that these are the information I have gathered. I will know that these are the basic books secondary school students use, um, probably for mathematics subjects, and probably for chemistry, for accounting, and all. So I will know that these are the basic books they use at their level. So I won't be restocking with books that are not relevant to their level. And then for the aspect of tech talent development also, with the help of data, it can actually help one to track students' progress. Take for example Bincom now, Bincom Academy, and then one of the things Bincoms do is train train individuals, to train students to build tech talent. So if Bincom actually is if and I believe Bincom is growth oriented, so they actually, for them to track um their students' progress, they actually want to look at gather data of past students, and also gather data of how the progress of their current student also. And that will, when they gather data of for in that aspect, will actually give them an insight to if they are really doing uh what they wanted, or probably if they're really doing if they're really achieving their aim and objective, their business goal in that aspect. So also employment outcomes also, in the case of um in the case of getting to um employ a certain group of people for a particular job, with the data you gather, you actually know the right people for that job, with the right people for that job. And then as a result, it will help you in it's help you in reducing the cost of employing too many individuals for a particular job that does not need that amount of individuals. And then in this aspect also, with the use of data also, skill gaps, it helps to identify skill gaps in industry. Take for example, if Bincom now wants to add additional additional courses to what they are already taking, before they can um before they can implement that new topic they are looking at, they will actually want to get the data to back up that uh, so that they won't just be implementing what people do not need, or probably what is not necessary, the skills necessary for employment, the skills necessary for industries. So with data, it helps organizations to identify the skill gaps in industries. So now, what are the best practices for data-driven decision making? First is that um you should you should set a clear objective. You should have you should know what you want. You should have a goal. You should have you should know your aims and objective for that product, for that services. And having that in mind will streamline you to what you actually need to do, the kind of data you need to gather also. So the data you've gathered also, it's actually setting a clear objective also will help you to align that data initiative with the strategic business goal. Another thing is promote data literacy. Encourage a company-wide culture of data awareness and usage. To ensure that industries are leveraging data the way they should, and they are making to drive decision-making process based on backed by data, we need to promote data literacy. We need to promote data literacy. And then another thing is we should invest in the right tools and talent. The right tools and talent that can help us in getting the data we want, the actual data we want, talent that will help us to analyze those data we've gathered, and that talent that will help us to generate vital insights, the main insight from those data too. And then the last step, and one of the best practices is also iterate and improve. You iterate and improve in the sense that when you carry out an action and probably you make a decision, then you also look at the outcome of that decision you've made, and then based on the data you've used, and in future you improve on it. And then it's just like using a feedback loop. So we continue to use that we continue to improve, we continue to iterate, we continue to improve, and we continue to monitor continuous monitoring to refine strategies. So so I've been talking about data and how the use of data in driving decision-making processes. And I've talked about what data is. I have talked about decision-making process, why data matters, and the steps, best practices, and the steps in making it in the steps in this data-driven decision-making process. So what I will leave everyone with is that we should always ensure that we don't just base our decision or probably our action on intuition alone. We should be data driven in our approaches. Now, whether big decisions or whether small decisions, we should also in every of our decisions we should always be data driven. And then when I'm saying data driven, I'm not saying it is not necessarily we should gather a big data set. So in our day-to-day activities, how we do things, when we do things, information from that are also part of the data we need to make informed decisions. And then so I will implore everyone to ensure that whatever decisions they are making, they are data driven, that aspect. So before I end my excuse me. So before I end my discussion, I would like one of us to just an interlude. So to tell me, looking at the 5-step process of data-driven decision making, which step do you think is the most challenging for organization, and tell me why. Can anyone help with that. So please, am I still audible? Can anyone hear me, please?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I will need someone to tell me the 5-step processes I have mentioned. Which of the steps do we think is the most challenging for organizations, and then tell me why you think that is the most challenging.
Okay, yeah. Miriam, let's make it easy, right? So you can just put up the steps, then people will recollect what you have said and respond accordingly. Right. Yeah, so that's better. And yeah, so you can actually call someone to respond because we have just 4 minutes left. And just
Okay.
call a random person.
Kolawole, please, are you there?
So it seems not to be on the call. Can you help out?
Tolulope. So because of time, because I have just 3 minutes more. So
Okay.
I'm done anyway. Do we have questions?
You can start by responding to the question you asked. So we will all learn.
You said what, please?
I said you can start by responding to the question you asked. I'm not
Okay,
sure anybody
okay.
has questions.
Okay. For me, I would think the most challenging step out of these 5 steps would be the data collection aspect, because data collection is very, 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 very tedious. Uh, very, very, very tedious, even for organizations, for big organizations, probably small organizations. That data collection, that first step is very, very tedious. And the reason for that, probably in Nigeria as a case study, is because we are not we don't in Nigeria, we do not have a system that probably a database sort of, that we can easily get data from. Or probably we are not we don't just take consideration into data and collecting data, compared to um, other countries that takes data very, very very, very serious. And then whatever they do, they ensure they document, they ensure they document and they save the data properly. So their first step would be very, very tedious for organizations. And then if that first step is achieved, the other step will be very easier to make. So, I think
All right.
that was all. Thank you all for listening.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you everyone for being available. I hope you've learned one or two about data privacy and how the steps involved for data management. Thank you everybody. Do have a productive day. KD has ended.